Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and special thanks to Volodya, who organized such a beautiful conference. I would like to speak about repressions in Russia today, and it seems it is very important because it is a sort of descriptive case study, or maybe even mapping of such study. I think it is very important because it is very productive now to think about authoritarian regimes in terms of their trajectories. And in the first session we had discussion on this. There is a general assumption, a general expert view that Putin's regime became more tough, more repressive now. Vladimir Gelman described it as politics of fear, new politics of fear of regime. But what does it really mean? What we know about the scope of repressions, patterns of repressions, targets, their targets, and so on. There is a broader framework. If we look back on those regime trajectories, we see that definitely Russia made some evolution from some sort of competitive non-democracy in late 90s to soft authoritarian regime in 2000s, and to more tough regime now. This is some backward transition, a sort of backward transition. And it seems that this toughening of regime is not a unique case, because if we look back on Turkey, we'll see something very similar. 10 years ago, we thought that Turkey maybe would join European Union now, 10 years ago. But now we see purges in Turkey, and this is surprising. And maybe there is some new trend in the history of authoritarian regimes. After several decades of softening of those regimes, maybe the new trend started, a new period in their history started. So it's an important and interesting problem with repression. So I try to discuss how to do this. So this is what I said. This is I tried to collect and to classify some types of repressions. You need not break your eyes on this. I would like to emphasize some details, some patterns I distinguish in different types of repressions. So, and this difference demonstrates the difference between repressions and repressiveness. So, when regime is when the target is to diminish the organizational capacity of opposition, so we will repress a concrete person. For example, like Navalny on some economic crimes. This is one type of repression. Certain people, the target is certain people. The other case is, the other pattern is when we need to violate, to repress some certain type of activity. In that time, victims are random. And more random they are, more effective repression is. So it is organized that it should be the increasing uncertainty, of course, if you practice some types of activity. And this pattern is repressiveness. The next question is, what is the scope, the scale of repressions in Russia? What is the dynamics? Is it really increasing repressive? Here. Yeah, there are different ways to measure. This is the first one. It is based on expert teams of Human Rights Watch organizations, and those teams' concrete cases were collected by memorial in database, politpressing org project. And you see here the blue columns. This is the number of continuing, ongoing repressions. And red ones is the number of repressions started this particular year. So we see that the continuing repressions, they increased from about 70 in 2011 to 350 in 2016. While starting repressions, also we see that there is some rise from 50 new repressions in 2011 and to 112 in 2016. So there is a obvious rise of repressiveness, a rise of in the statistics. There is another way to measure repressiveness. This is official criminal statistics. And in official criminal statistics, I'm looking at several crimes. First of all, extremist and terrorist crimes. And you see a huge increase in investigations started on extremist and terrorist crimes. This is because those crimes were extended in criminal code, and now they include organization, sponsorship, and participation in extremist or terrorist organization. And if you are a member of organization which is now regarded as extremist or terrorist, so you are a victim of investigation because you are a terrorist. And this is or extremist organization, and this is the way how the scope of repressiveness is extended. There are some other criminal articles of criminal code that are used for violation on political reasons, and we know this from pressing.org cases. That those articles are used in and so I also see on these figures, and total number of investigations in particular year was about there is oh no, it's how to turn back. Yes,
this left one, just the back. Sorry.
Left?
Yeah, sorry.
No, right.
That's not the right, sorry.
No.
I can fix it. So with this.
No, I need to go back. Go back. Yeah, no more.
Yes. This.
Back. No. And more back. And okay. More. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You can show the slide and fix it.
Yeah. Thank you. So total number of cases we detected. And please, next one.
Okay.
And next. I'm sorry. Total number for 2016 of these cases on the previous slide is 3,860. In comparison, it was about 1,300 in 2011. And now, if you collect all those investigations on terrorist, extremist crimes, all this is so we have two figures: 350 cases of political repressions according to pressing.org, and these about 4,000 cases from criminal statistics. I am not going to insist all of those 4,000 cases are political repressions. Moreover, the most of them are not finished and submitted to court. This is only investigations, but this is what I define as repressiveness. It's not repressions, but repressiveness, and this is gives the idea of the level of repressiveness of the state, and it gets an idea about the emerging of repressive machine, who is operating with 4,000 cases a year, instead of the fact that actually there are much less, about 350 real people who are under political pressure. considering the absence of any significant splashes of extremism and terrorism in last years, and comparing two intervals, 350 and 3,800 in 2016, and interval of 68 cases in 2011 and 1,300 cases in 2011, yes, in two dimensions. We see the actual rise of this repressiveness and the growth of this repressive machine. It is, yeah, thank you. Let's start with qualitative analysis. Now we discuss, we see that about 2/3 of upper bound figure of 3,800 cases in 2016 deal with extended definitions of terrorist crimes, 2,200 terrorist crimes. President Org gives a similar picture from 356 cases of ongoing political repressions in 2016, about 40% deal with terrorist crimes. 40%. And about 65% deals with people who are members of Islamic organizations that are announced terrorist or extremist. So, in graph here we see that blue columns, blue part of columns and red part of columns. This is members of Islamic organizations and members of followers of Jehovah's Witness movement. And this is their share in new cases of political repressions every year. So, the green part is what we usually mean by political repressions, repressions against political opposition. And here we see that figures are 40, 60, 30 cases a year. That this is much more moderate. This is a very strange picture. We have the range, estimating repressions, the scope of repressions, we have the range from 30 cases to 4,000. How could we interpret this? So this is what I just said. It seems, so what I said to that. This is important also. In 2016, we have repressions against what we mean by political repressions, repressions against political opposition. Only 30 cases, yes? And it was 60 in 2015. But to compare them with such cases of 2010, 2011, we'll see the difference. In that time, the total scope was just the same, 40 cases a year, but they deal mostly with Russian nationalists, leftists, and radical youth organizations. And now they mostly deal with participants of mass protests, like Bolotny trial, and with publications in social networks. So this is just about the same. This number of repressions a year, but they differ in their themes and their issues. Yes. What is rational or irrational in this huge range of repressions from 30 in one dimension and 4,000 total? Among 260 cases of violation of freedom of conscience and religion in database, politpressing.org database, 255 deals with members of Islamic organizations like Hizb ut-Tahrir, Sayyid Nursi followers, and so on. About 20 Jehovah's Witnesses followers, and only the rest 10 cases, they include all you know about repressions in Russia. Pussy Riot, Pokemon Sokolovsky case, and some others you know very well. This is only 10 cases for 5 years, but they have a huge media coverage, and they are very widely discussed. But if you look from the other side, you see that actually In mass perception, Islamic organizations are seen as a source of danger, definitely. Jehovah's Witnesses are under suspicion as sectarianism, and so on. And so you see that regime presented you, so this is politics of fear, Volodya described, is accomplished with politics of threats. Regime presents a wide range of threats of Islamic terrorism, Islamic extremism, national extremism, sectarianism, and this is a huge range of threats presented to society. And what we mean by political repressions is actually a small share of that. And so this range of threats presented to society legitimate increasing repressiveness of the state, which is perceived not as a violation of human rights and human freedoms, but state fight with threats. So this is what I named repressive populism, because it helps to consolidate popular support or popular tolerance to rising repressiveness of the state. And I think this case is interesting and important, because if we deal with some Arab countries and Turkey, we'll see something similar, this repressive populism. Now, I try to define another thing, anti-elite economic repressions. So, keeping loyalty for elite groups up and preventing elite splits is an ultimate condition of authoritarian sustainability. Rent distribution is one of the main leverages to keep elite loyalty and cohesion. So, we see rent distribution as a combination of formal and informal institutions. First, you have to have some formal rights providing you access to resources. For example, be some executive or be some minister or something like that. This is formal right, or possess formally with your property. And after that, there is informal institution. It is informal privatization of some rent. So there are regulatory and repressive strategies in this case. This is the way I test if there is a growing repressiveness against elite. I saw statistic on investigative activity of FSB, because most of the most important politically relevant cases are usually operated by FSB. And so I saw the dynamics of their investigations on large-scale damage economic offenses. And we see that it rise from 1,000 cases in 2011, 2012 to 3,000 cases. Please, next. We see two main, this is only that data we have, and I don't know what we do with this data. And after that, I turn to the data collected from media about repressions we saw last years. Two main types of repression. The first, repressions against top officials. And this is quite the case of this switch from reward regulation model strategy I described on the previous slide. So if I want to punish you, I provide you some formal access to resources, and if I want to punish you, I dismiss you, and that's all. And the other person is appointed on this place. That was the case of 2000s. This is a reward regulative strategy. And now we see reward repressive strategy. When I punish you for informal redistribution, which I tolerated in the previous. And when we saw those arrests of acting ministers, acting governors, and so on, we see this switch from soft reward regulative strategy to reward repressive strategy. The most important cases I want to describe, taken from this data from media coverage. Repressions in the Ministry of Interior, repressions against ministers and against governors and mayors of regional capitals. Please, next one. This is the collection of cases, 3 categories: mayors of regional capitals, governors, and ministers. Mayors of regional capitals are very important because actually they are the second person in region. Yes, and also in previous earlier they were elected as governors. We see cases for ministers. It is about 6% from the whole number of positions, including federal services, and 7 governors and 11 mayors. So in general, it is about 10% in those categories are repressed, economically repressed. Please, next. What is the institutional impact of those repressions? The first deals with the Ministry of Interior. 2 sensational inquiries in the anti-corruption department of MVD. The case was that the anti-corruption department of FSB arrested all the high staff of the anti-corruption department of MVD, and including the chief of the department and deputy chief, and deputy chief was actually killed in the prison. So it's a very interesting case in terms of how Russia is ruled. But this, of course, this is obviously that this case strengthened monopoly of FSB in anti-corruption investigation. Yes, they are monopolists in this. But the second institutional impact, institutional issue is that it was just in the moment when the most ambitious fundamental reform of Ministry of Interior was operated. The ministry was was deprived of some traditional mandates and of all its armed units and special forces in this moment. What about ministers? Well, we discussed that it is also about the comparative strength of different agencies within the state, because in previous epoch, in previous times, to dismiss minister, it was the decision of president administration, which was organized there, not in FSB. And what about governors and mayors? This is extremely important cases because it was a federal reform. The election of governors was reintroduced, and the elections of mayors was actually abolished in these years. But both election or no elections, the elections procedures were devaluated by those arrests because elected governors and mayors were arrested without any special procedures. And so the elections are devaluated. It doesn't matter if you elected or not, you will be arrested the same way as every other citizen. Actually, we see that those repressions, the next. We see a lot of institutional changes. The very new configuration of force control and security agencies, and we expect. I see here some authoritarian learned experience of colored revolutions in the Arab Springs that demonstrated unreliability of ordinary police forces in clashes with protesters. In general, personalized presidency, security services, and privileged corporations expanded their power, while government, police, and local administrations were weakened. It looks like inside the ruling coalition, a sort of inner core, smaller coalition of winners is forming. Maybe next. I know that I should finish. We see repressions as a part of institutional changes, which, in terms of which we could describe the regime transition from soft authoritarian to toughening authoritarian regime. So, if in 2000s the legitimacy of regime, it was legitimated thanks to special economic performance. Now it is the source of legitimacy is quasi-ideological threats-focused legitimations. So threats are not economic performance. Sport repressions in that period, regular and growing repressiveness in next period. Control of public opinion, mostly censorship in the first period, and propaganda and extended censorship in the second period. And a reward regulation strategy in first period to control elite, and reward punishment strategy in the second. So, and changes in structure of ruling coalition. Repressions are a very important part of these institutional changes in regime transformation. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Kirill, for very, very